In this demo, we're going to enroll a new student. I'm currently logged into PowerSchool, and I can see by glancing up here in the upper right-hand corner that I am operating at a school level. So I'm actually going to change that to begin, because there's one thing that we need to do always before enrolling a new student. So the reason I want to start at the district level, and I changed that by clicking on this down arrow and selecting district office. The reason that I want to do that is because before a student can be enrolled at the school level, someone has to make sure that the student does not already exist in the district, meaning they do not already have a record, whether active or inactive. An inactive record is still a record, so I definitely don't want a record to be created for a student more than once. So to find out if the student already exists, I can use this search feature at the top of the start page here, and I'll make sure that students is selected because I'm looking for a student record, not a staff member, not a student contact. So students is selected. And now I happen to know that there's a student in this sample district. And by the way, this is a test server, so this is not a real student or district, but we'll imagine that it is. I happen to know that there's a Brian Bailey in this district. And sure enough, let's try typing in Bailey. There we go. If I type in Bailey's last name and look to see if he's there, I can see Brian Bailey along with 4 other students who are active students in the district. Now, all 5 students who just popped up here, again, are active students in this imaginary district. And I want to prove to you that these are active students by showing you what they look like compared to inactive students. So if I instead begin my search string with a / and then type Bailey, let's take a look at what we have. You'll see that 10 students with the last name Bailey show up here. And some of them show an avatar that's gray with a little X, and some show this blue avatar right here. And so I can see that there are actually 10 student records in this district for students with the last name Bailey, but some of them are active and some of them are inactive. Maybe that's for different reasons. Maybe some of them are in a pre-registered status, but in any case, you'll see that they have different statuses. So the point here being that if we want to check and be absolutely sure within a district that the student doesn't already have a record, we want to proceed our search string with that little /. So I'm going to make up a name for an imaginary student and see if that student is in the district. So I'll go ahead and search for the student, beginning with my /, and the student's name is Britt Kent. So I'll start with Kent, the last name. All right, and I have some other students appearing here who have that last name, but I don't see Britt. I can try looking for that. Okay, sure enough, nope. And I actually happen to know that this student has a legal first name of Marie. So I can search for that too, just to be sure. But again, it appears that I can go ahead and enroll that student. Now, before enrolling Britt Kent, I'm going to change the status that I'm operating from. So right now I'm operating at the district office. I'm going to change that to operating at the school level because that's going to matter when I start to enter some of the students' information. So I'm going to pick a school right here. I'm going to select PowerSchool 42912. The names of the actual schools in your district probably don't sound strange like that, but when you get to some of the applied exercises for this PowerSchool in SC training, you may be using a school assigned to you on a test server that does have a funky name like that. Hopefully, by the way, the school that is assigned to you reflects the grade band or A grade band that you serve in your current role. So when you get to that portion of your training, check on that to see if you have a school that makes sense for you in your current role. Okay, so now I'm operating at the school level, and I'm going to go over to my navigation pane over here to the left, and I'm going to search for people, or find people, this people section, and select enroll student. I'll begin by entering the student's preferred name. Starting with the last name. And I could type in the student's legal name, but I'm going to show you that there's this nice feature right here, this copy feature. If I click copy, everything is copied here, and that may be the case for a lot of students, but for many students, there may be a preferred name and a legal name that's different. So in this case, the legal name is different for the student. So I will just backspace over that and type in Marie. All right. I'm going to select the date of birth for the student. We'll say April 8th. And I need to make sure that the correct year is reflected. This is a common mistake for this to be left with the current year. So it says 2022. I'm going to put 2006. And then we'll put preferred gender and legal gender for the student. For the student number, I can leave this blank. This will auto-populate. Social security number is optional. So in this case, I'll just leave that. For phone number, we'll just put something there. And then for the enrollment date, this is also, it's also crucial that I select the correct date. And what I want to do is select the date that Britt will be beginning classes. And it's really important that I choose the correct date. So in this case, I'm going to select, we'll just say the student is beginning March 15th. Again, notice that my year says 2022. If that's correct, we'll leave it. We'll just pretend that that is correct. And again, it's really important that I get the enrollment date right, because if I use a date before or after Britt is actually beginning class, I'm going to mess up Britt's average daily attendance and average daily membership numbers. Okay, for full-time equivalency, this is required, and you'll have one option in South Carolina, full-time student. All right, for this student, could be 9, why don't we say 10 for this student. Entry code. I'm going to go ahead and select E, eligible for state funding. A word on entry code here. If you're not sure which students will be in EEI status or not eligible for state funding that you see right here, remember that you can reference the latest South Carolina Pupil Accounting System document from the South Carolina Department of Education Office of Finance. And one last note about the entry code. If you're a Power School administrator of schools that have pre-K students, you'll want to go ahead and select the enrollment code of E, eligible for state funding for pre-K students, 3 and 4-year-old students attending your schools. This is for state reporting for counts only, and the Office of Finance will filter and not count the 3-year-old students for funding purposes. The district of residence field on the Enrolled New Student page also must be populated, so we'll go ahead and do that. I'll just select a district here. Remember that this field needs to be populated correctly because this information affects funding for the district for which the student's home address is zoned. So make sure that you have the correct district of residence. You would then select the fee exemption status. I'm selecting student not exempted. Great. Now remember that we could use Family Match. Okay, search for family members to link to and copy information from. So if there was a sibling for this student, that would be good to do. You could also click enroll without linking or copying information, but I'll go ahead and leave that selected in case there's a family match for this student. We can also validate the student's address and verify that Britt's address lies within the district or school boundaries that were set up for the district and school. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Okay, great. We actually have a family search result here for the student. It says possible family members. The following list of students represent those who matched all or some of the search criteria and may possibly be family members of the current student. So I have an option here to select copy or related. So the rest of the instructions say to use one of the listed students as a source to copy demographic, parent, and emergency contact information. I can select the appropriate copy radio button, and to establish a family link between the student enrolled and any of the students listed below, I can check the related checkbox, and it says the system will establish a link between them and keep their common family information synchronized. So we'll just pretend that this is actually not a match, and I won't click that today, but just so you can see what that looks like. There it is. Now, there's certainly more information that we would want to enter for the student. And of course, once we've covered our bases there, we would also want to enroll the student into classes. But let's just pause and verify that the student now has a record. I'm going to go ahead and click submit here without clicking either of these. So I can verify that by going to the transfer information page. And notice, by the way, this says not enrolled in any classes, right? Student is pre-registered. But if I go over to transfer info. All right, here's my student, Britt J. Kent. Okay, we see the student's school, grade, some of the other information that I entered, again, pre-registered. Okay, great. And we can also go to the start page and search for the student. So let's see what happens. I'll go ahead and use my / and Kent. All right, there's Britt J. Kent. Okay, notice that the avatar is gray with the little X. So our student still has a pre-registered status and does not yet have an active student status. But we were successful in beginning the enrollment for the student and creating a record for the student.